Okay, so you remember these double stick tape? Peel off the protector there, and we're gonna set our flight controller in place, so like so. And there you go. Make sure it's lined up properly, centered properly, and so it should fit within between the pylons anyway. So next one is we're gonna mount the AHRS plate. So let's do that. So make sure that it's mounted with the wider opening to clear your wirings later on over here and on the other side. So you just screw it in place. These are nylon screws, so the threads can easily get loose. So there you go, don't over tighten. So there you go, we'll be able to mount this AHRS mounting plate. A little bit of caution when you're lining up your flight controller in place. The AHRS base plate is tightly fit on the top of your flight controller, so when you attach it, it has to exactly line up with it. So I was just lucky when I was lining it up, because if it didn't line up, I would have had to take out the flight controller and realign it. So just caution when you're mounting the flight controller. Next step is let's mount the AHRS system. Try saying that 5 times fast. AHRS. It's really tough. So I'll get the double stick foam tape again, peel it off, and attach it right like so. So we've attached it to the back of the unit. Make sure it's in there. So we're only gonna have one chance to mount this, so when we mount it in here, we better make sure that it's lined up properly. And note that it has an arrow here that says front. It has to line up with the front of your craft, which I marked right there. So it has to be pointing in the same direction as your aircraft. Okay, so the next thing we're going to mount is the battery assembly, or battery mounting assembly. Okay, so you'll need the load hanger, these two, and the battery mounting plate. So I put together the battery mounting plate onto the load mounting frames. If you're not mounting any cameras onto your system, it's recommended that you mount the battery in the middle of the frame to keep the center of gravity balanced. But since I'm going to be mounting a camera system on mine, I'm going to put it in the back like so. To keep the balance, I'll put it up front, and that's going to be another video that you're going to watch. I'll show you how I set up that camera. Don't forget to attach back your power wire onto your system. So now the wiring of the Xaircraft 650 V8. I won't go into setups of the transmitter and servos, because it depends on what transmitter you use. So we're gonna have different settings. Now, so you'll need your receiver, 6 of these wires that came with the system, and the 6-pin signal cable. This one will connect the heading reference system onto the flight control system. So let's get started. So if we look at the manual here, it shows you the diagram. This is on page 11. It shows you the diagram and where to plug in the systems. There's an input side and an output side. So make sure that your aircraft is positioned the same way. It's hard to read, but this is the output side, this is the input side. So I got it oriented the same way as the manual, so there's no confusion. Now, as a quick recap, if you remember in my previous video, if you haven't seen that yet, you should watch it. I've labeled all of the motor control wires right here, so that way I don't get confused, so I know where to plug it in. So as I routed through the tube, I'm always gonna know which one is which. So that's what I did. So if you haven't watched that yet, I highly recommend that you go and watch that. It should be in my channel, so you just do a search. So in the manual, let's do the output side first, meaning this is where we're all gonna attach our motor wires. If you look close, it's labeled 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 8. So we will plug in our control wires for our motors accordingly. And it says over here that you have to be very careful as to how you're gonna insert it, and there's a diagram which one is the negative and positive. So it's really hard to make a mistake unless you're not reading. So let's do that, shall we? So let's locate our channel 1, or motor 1, excuse me, and plug it into motor 1. Actually, for the purposes of this video, I should start with number 8, since I'll be plugging starting from the number 8 side. So we'll plug it in. The black, according to the diagram, is on the outer pin, so make sure the black is on the outer side. Okay, 7. Let's look for number 7 here. Plug it into the corresponding pin. Okay, so let's do that on the rest of the channels. So I plug all of my motor or ESC wires into the flight controller on the output side. That's important to remember. It's got to be output.